The car moved slowly, its tires humming quietly against the cracked pavement, as if it too was taking its time to absorb the world around it. Twisting through the roads of McDowell County, West Virginia, I felt the landscape begin to close in, the mountains wrapping around the road like a protective arm. People say this is the poorest place in America, a place often forgotten, and I wanted to see it for myself, to understand what those words really meant. The mountains rose up on both sides, big and green, holding the sky on their shoulders, ancient and silent witnesses to everything that happens below. The sun was setting, painting the clouds in shades of orange and purple, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch for miles across the valleys. It was beautiful, but also a little sad. A quiet kind of sadness that settles in your chest and makes you wonder about the lives lived here. My journey here was long, winding through big cities full of noise and lights, then out onto quiet roads where the world seemed to slow down. The air felt different, clean, cool, smelling of trees and damp earth, a scent that reminded me of early mornings and new beginnings. I rolled down my window to let the mountain air in, feeling it brush against my skin, carrying with it the stories of the hills and hollows. There were no bright lights, no loud noises, just the sound of the wind and my car's engine echoing in the stillness of the night. I felt a mix of curiosity and a little bit of fear, wondering what I would find and if I would be welcome here. I came here to listen, not to judge, to open my mind and heart to whatever stories I might hear. I wanted to hear the stories of the people who call this place home, to understand their joys and struggles, their dreams and disappointments. In the news, they only talk about numbers, statistics that never quite capture the truth. But people are not numbers. They are stories, hopes, fears, love, and pain, each person carrying a history that deserves to be heard. I wanted to find the human part of the story, the part that gets lost between headlines and data. As I drove deeper, the houses became fewer, some old and tired, their paint peeling, others with bright gardens and signs of care, each one a testament to resilience. Each house was a story, each window a pair of eyes looking out at the world, watching, waiting, hoping for something better. I thought about the families inside, the children playing in the yard, the old folks on their porches, sharing stories as the day faded. My heart felt heavy, but open, ready to carry the weight of what I would learn and the stories I would be trusted with. I was ready to learn from the people of McDowell County, to let their voices guide my understanding. The road ahead was dark, uncertain, but I was not looking for an easy path. I was searching for something real. I was looking for truth, and I hoped that, somewhere along these winding roads, I would find it. The next morning, I saw the land in daylight, and everything looked different. The soft glow of sunrise revealed details that the night had hidden, painting the hills and valleys in gentle gold. The mountains were everywhere, pressing in on the small towns, their slopes rising steep and close, as if to shelter and confine at the same time. It felt as though the land itself was holding its breath, cradling the people and their stories. The houses were built in narrow valleys, following the path of small rivers and creeks that wound through the landscape. Each home seemed to cling to the land, shaped by the contours of the earth and the flow of water. The green of the trees was deep and rich, a testament to the resilience of nature. But you could see the scars where coal mines used to be, raw, pale lines cutting through the forest, reminders of what was taken. The land seemed to remember a time when the ground gave up its black treasure, when coal was king and the hills echoed with the sounds of industry and hope. I walked through Welch, the county seat, with its old, beautiful buildings, standing as silent witnesses to decades of change and challenge. Many were empty now, windows dark, doors locked, their facades hinting at stories of families and businesses that once thrived here. It felt like a museum of a time that was gone, each empty room and quiet street holding echoes of laughter, work, and dreams. A few cars drove slowly, a few people walked, nodding a quiet hello, their routine shaped by the rhythm of a town that has learned to endure. The landscape tells a story of what was, with old railroad tracks now rusty and overgrown, weaving through the valleys like forgotten veins. They once carried coal out of these mountains, the veins of this place, connecting these remote hills to the wider world and fueling distant cities. Now they are quiet reminders, silent and still, slowly being reclaimed by grass and time. The company stores, once bustling with miners and families, now stand silent, paint peeling, signs faded, their shelves empty, but their stories lingering in the dust. The land and buildings hold the memory of a boom that went bust, of fortunes made and lost, of communities built on hope and hard work. But the beauty is still here, a rugged, wild beauty that endures despite everything, drawing the eye and the heart. The rivers still flow, winding through the valleys, and the trees still grow tall, reaching for the sky as they always have. In the morning, a thick fog fills the valleys, making the world feel soft and quiet, as if the land is wrapped in a gentle memory. When the sun burns it away, the mountains appear again, like old friends returning, steadfast and familiar, watching over the land. The people here are surrounded by this nature, their backyard, their playground, a source of peace and comfort in a hard life, a reminder that beauty and resilience can coexist. The land is both a reminder of loss and a source of constant, unchanging beauty, a landscape of memory where the past and present meet in every hill and hollow. I met John, a man in his 60s, sitting on his porch, gazing out at the hills that have been his home for decades. His hands were rough and calloused, a testament to a life of hard work in the coal mines, a life that shaped him and many others in this community. He started when he was just a boy, barely old enough to understand the weight of the work. But back then it was considered good, honest work. Now his children have all moved away to find work, seeking opportunities that the hills can no longer provide. I met Sarah, a young woman working tirelessly at the local diner, a single mother with 2 small children who depend on her strength and perseverance. She gets up before the sun rises, working long hours, serving coffee and food to the early risers and regulars. Her smile is warm and genuine, a beacon of familiarity and kindness, knowing everyone who comes in by name. It's not easy, she confided in me, but you just do it for them, for the love and future of her children. There was Mary, an older woman who spends her days volunteering at the food pantry, a place of hope for many. She helps sort cans and boxes, giving her time freely and with a heart full of compassion. "We have to help each other," she said simply, her words echoing the spirit of community and solidarity. "When your neighbor is hungry, you feed them," she explained, because that's what it means to be part of this community. These are the people of McDowell County, strong and resilient, bound by shared history and enduring spirit. Their lives are not easy, facing challenges every day, yet they continue to push forward with determination. They worry about money, health, and the future of their children, but they face these worries together. But they do not give up. They hold on to hope and each other, finding strength in unity. They find joy in small things, a conversation, a sunny day, a good meal shared with loved ones. They have a deep sense of pride in who they are and where they come from, a pride that fuels their resilience. They are not just statistics in a report about poverty, but real people with stories and dreams. They are human beings full of dignity and grace, living lives of quiet strength and unwavering hope. Why is this place called the poorest in America? The answer is coal. For 100 years, coal was everything here. The only job, the whole economy was built on it, and McDowell County was rich. Then things changed. The country started using other forms of energy. The coal companies used machines instead of men, and the mines closed. Jobs disappeared, and families had to choose stay with no work or leave home. Schools got worse with fewer jobs and less tax money. Many young people left, creating a brain drain. Health became an issue with black lung disease and stress from poverty. There are not many doctors or hospitals here, and people struggle with addiction. All these things weave together to create a difficult reality. Walking down the main street feels like stepping into a memory. The buildings are still there, solid and proud, but now plywood covers the windows. The silence is filled with echoes of what used to be. I peeked through a dusty window of a department store, imagining the past. Now there is only dust and darkness. The few stores still open are small: a dollar store, a gas station, a pharmacy. Folks drive an hour or more to get to a big supermarket. The homes tell a similar story. Neat houses next to ones falling down. Some homes have been abandoned, nature slowly taking them back. This landscape of decay affects the spirit, a reminder of hard times. It's hard to feel hopeful about the future when surrounded by the past. But the people here are used to it, focusing on the life that is still here. Amid hardship, You find moments of incredible kindness. These moments are like small lights in the dark. I saw a woman at the grocery store cover the difference for an elderly man. It was a simple, quiet exchange, just what you do. I visited a community garden, a small patch of land behind a church. Volunteers were growing food for anyone in the community. They were not just growing food, they were growing community. I met a young man who taught himself to code, working from his home. His story shows that it is possible to stay and make a living. These acts of kindness and hope are everywhere if you look for them. They don't make the news, but they are the true story of McDowell County. On Sunday, I went to a small church, a simple wooden building. About 30 people were there, greeting each other warmly. It felt more like a family gathering than a formal service. The preacher talked about love, helping your neighbor, and having faith. His words were simple but powerful. We may not have much, but we are rich in spirit, he said. After the service, there was a potluck lunch in the basement. Everyone shared food and stories, inviting me to join them. In that church basement, there was no poverty, only abundance. The church is more than just a place to worship. It is a support system. It provides a place for people to gather and feel like they are not alone. After spending time in McDowell County, one message is clear. It is a message of survival and pride. The people here have been through so much, but they are still here. They face each day with quiet strength, both humbling and inspiring. This is a place of deep roots, families connected to the land. Leaving is not just moving, it's leaving behind everything that makes you who you are. They stay because this is home, and home is worth fighting for. In a world obsessed with money, they remind us of what is truly important. They remind us of the value of community and the importance of kindness. They are not asking for pity, but for respect. See the people, their strength, dignity, and humanity. I did not write this story to make you feel sad or guilty. I wrote it because these stories matter. The people I met in McDowell County are not invisible. Their lives have meaning, their struggles are real, their kindness a gift. In our busy world, it is easy to forget about the quiet places, but we cannot forget we are all connected. My request is simple. Open your heart to these stories. Try to understand what it feels like to live where hope is hard to find. This is how we begin to bridge divides in our country. It starts with empathy, seeing humanity in people different from us. Carry these stories with you. Remember the faces behind the numbers. Let their stories change you, remind you of the power of community. Your understanding is a way of saying you are not forgotten. We see you. You matter.